Matt and Luke's Sci-Fi Sanctuary.
The year is 3013. The galaxy is scintillating in the mellow light. Two galactic pilgrims seek out vistas in the samurai future to bring forth the unity of the cosmic shaman. Opening the door of the pantheon of mystics, the evil sorcerer wizard powers the engine of science, seeking to forever alter the sacred balance, travelling on effervescent balls of summer fire.
This week, Doctor Who and the Daleks.
In the year 2153, the Daleks conquered Earth. But before that, they just kind of stayed in their city like dodgems.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, this is Matt.
This is Luke.
You have entered the
Sci-Fi Sanctuary.
And today we are going for the British staple here, Doctor Who, but the weird version. We knew we had to do some Doctor Who, but so my first thought was one of the Tenet movies or the weird one from the mid-90s, the TV one. But your suggestion was?
Doctor Who and the Daleks.
Dr. Dot in this case.
Yes, literally Doctor Who.
So just giving the rundown on this. Of the people here today, I guess I'm the least hooey. The least hooey? What are Who fans called?
Whovians, apparently, but I think that's an American thing.
Okay. Anyway, this was on TV, on public television in the 80s on Sunday afternoons. And I saw a little bit here and there, but I couldn't follow a full story because you have to follow, 20 episodes, yeah?
The old ones, yeah, it was always serials.
So it was like that, and I'd be like, what's happening? And then it would be This Old House and Bob Ross. So for me, it was all kind of thrown to that. When I first came into Japan, one of the trainers, he was like, oh, you're into sci-fi. And this is right when the Eccleston one had come out. So
right.
I took his advice. I watched it. I liked it pretty well. But once Tenet showed up a few years later, I didn't really follow up so well. I think it was a Black Friday sale. I got the first Matt Smith season.
Oh, yeah.
And I actually watched all of the Matt Smith stuff. So that is my doctor. That is my knowledge. As far as today's film, I think when I was doing that, I got the Tenet films, and I saw this, and I was like, oh, this is like weird bootleg Who, so I didn't go for it until now. Now Luke here is British.
So, yeah, although being born in 1990, I was born in, the fallow period of Doctor Who, because it had just stopped before I was born. We got, the mid-90s TV movie, and then it didn't really come back until 2005. So actually, when I was a kid and when I was in school, even in the UK, you did have to go out of your way a little bit to be a Doctor Who fan. There were reruns on TV. I watched a lot of John Pertwee and Tom Baker, but it was only thanks to my parents being super geeks that I got really into it, and I had a few Dalek figures and stuff like that. And then 2005, obviously, we got the remake, and I was like, oh, hell yeah. I was 100% on board from day one. And I guess I've watched all of New Who, apart from the season that's currently running, just because it's a pain in the ass to get hold of in Japan. But, these two movies were perennial, Sunday afternoon TV fare in the UK. Although I always much preferred the Invasion Earth one. Most of what you complain about this one, Matt, is not so much present in that
one. This one, it was a fun one. Yeah, and I guess this is the first color Who. Had they only had the first Doctor when these came out, or had they made it to a second?
A year after Doctor Who started.
Yeah, okay.
And the serial aired in '64, and that serial was remade into a film the next year.
Yeah, so they had a lot to extrapolate here.
Yeah, I mean, as a Doctor Who fan, I understand the frustration, but if you're trying to put out a 90-minute movie with people unfamiliar, I can understand why they were like, well, why don't we just make him a person? Him being an alien doesn't actually factor into this plot at all. But again, all of these, these crap companions are pretty much who he was traveling with in the first season of the TV show. His granddaughter and her two teachers.
Yeah, I was going to wait till our next segment, but my main note was we're looking at an action movie here with, like, nobody suited for action.
Yep. Jump over a 2-foot chasm with safety ropes.
Well, that one dude still stumbles down and then hits like a ledge 2 meters down? Like, wasn't that bad? But one thing, I guess, up until modern Who, production design was always an issue. And of course, this is mid-60s, like not high budget, but it is several cuts above anything we get on TV for quite a while, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So it is a nice looking movie that they're, I guess, blasting the lights on.
I was gonna say, that's the only reason I liked these films as a kid. Is not because they were good films, because I got to see the Daleks behaving the way I was told they did in the show, but never actually got to see.
Yeah, I guess they're still a little creepy at this point. Slowly creepy, but...
Well, when you grow up as a kid in the UK, you're scared of Daleks.
Okay.
They're tanks that can come in your house and get you.
It's got candy color, so, I mean, I didn't follow so deeply with Tom Baker or anything. As I said, I just see like a random episode here and there, but the color there appeared to me. So 60s black and white Who. Even now, I'm not sure if I could make it through a whole lot of the early stuff. Well, you're missing chapters too. That doesn't help.
Yeah, I've picked up 1 or 2 serials of the old stuff, and it is a slog.
Okay.
Like, I mean, the really old stuff. Like
Yeah.
Hartnell and Troughton. Comedy also in big inverted commas. He sat on some chocolate. He fell through a door.
Well, that younger dude does have quite a face coming out of the elevator shaft. But I guess we're getting deep enough in the film now that Luke, you should probably hit us up with the plot.
Such as it is? Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Doctor Who, his granddaughters Susan and Barbara's boyfriend Ian, are accidentally transported to another planet by Doctor Who's latest invention, a time and space machine called TARDIS, time and relative dimension in space. While exploring the alien planet on which they find themselves, the travellers see a city in the distance. They also find a small container of drugs, which they just take. Wishing to investigate further, Doctor Who pretends a component is damaged so that they can stay on the planet, and they go out to explore a little more, when they are captured by cyborg creatures which call themselves Daleks. The Doctor discovers that they have contracted radiation poisoning on the planet, and the Daleks reveal to the audience that they too are trapped in their metal shells by the radiation. They intend to get a hold of these drugs so that they can free themselves from the confines of their city, and allow Susan to go back and get them. As she collects the drugs, she is met by a Thal, one of the other residents of the planet, and the original creators of the drugs. Susan returns, gives the drugs to the Daleks, and has some spares for herself and her friends. They escape by putting some food on the Dalek's eye and pushing it onto a blanket. And then they flee and attempt to convince the Thals to help them fight back, because the Daleks have kept the component which will allow them to get home. A riveting fight ensues, in which they turn off the power and the Daleks all stop. Then they get back in their spaceship, travel home, but accidentally find themselves in some racist old footage. And that's pretty much the plot of this film.
And we're rolling.
So, what did Doctor Who actually do to solve any of their problems in this film?
He was like the rear general with the Thals in the end, like making decisions.
I guess, yeah, he tricked the censors for a bit, but that didn't work. And he pretended to kidnap a woman so that the guy would want to fight.
Whose idea was to shove food into the eye and roll them onto the carpet?
Barbara's.
Huh?
Oh, it was his idea to put them on the carpet. It was Barbara's idea to cover up the eyes.
Oh, okay, there we go. She just like grabbing that goop, I think. She really seemed into it. Usually we start off, we talk about actors, right? But there's Peter Cushing and there's David Bowie. Like all the Thals look like Ziggy Stardust. I love that.
Oh, they are all super lame though. Like they look interesting, but they're all just such massive dweebs.
They're not that smart. But my first note was when he shows up, it's like, "Fuck, it's Bowie."
Honestly, if one of these two species has to be exterminated, I'd pick the Thals.
Yeah, they're kind of like a slightly lamer version of the ones in the original series Star Trek episode, The Apple. It made me think of that a lot. Maybe they had been watching this because this was first. But
yeah, which one's the Apple?
That's Feeders of Val. They're all blonde hair, blue eyes, running around with no clothes, and they have to feed someone to the giant smoking skull or something.
I kind of remember it, but yeah.
Yeah,
it sounds very TOS.
It's like, honestly, I feel like it's the definitive TOS episode, but this is not the definitive Doctor Who movie.
Although you made the interesting point that it shows how good an actor Cushing is, because you cannot reconcile this character with Tarkin.
The Daleks they're not acting at all, man. I've seen the least two of the folks in this discussion today. I feel like the Daleks aren't always this annoying.
No, I remember the Daleks in these films being cool, so it must be the second one, because here they're super lame.
They do look cool.
They look cool, but their voice, they have... Russell T Davies made a good point, the difference between the Daleks and the Cybermen. The Cybermen are robotic and have zero emotion, right? Whereas the Daleks are meant to just be full of hate all the time. But these guys just don't seem to care. Shall we kill them? Okay.
We don't get an exterminate. No, we get an exterminate.
Yeah,
yes, they do. Okay.
We don't get them chanting it, but they do.
They just say it. Right? Yeah. But
I feel maybe this was before it had become a full-on catchphrase. But they definitely use it that way in the second one. And yeah, they don't. I think actually it only had the first serial and this remake of it at this point. This is
Dalek Mania time? There was a Dalek Mania, wasn't there? Yeah, this is prime time.
Dalek Mania lasted about 50 years in the UK now. It's still going on.
Well, that's why I'm trying to date it, I guess. Yeah, I guess small children still get a little flipped out. I mean, yeah, I guess they are scary just because their voice is so grating. And those pauses, you just gotta wait and deal with them.
Yep. But, they don't even have a beam or anything. They just shoot steam.
Well, so what they replace that with, 5 minutes of having, an early 90s RPG with a door? Yeah.
I just remembered the scene you're talking about, and yeah, it was really irritating to watch. My dude, just take off your shoe.
With the colors, sorry, I'm going back to the Daleks here, but yeah, I did think with all the colors, it was sort of R2-D2 and other astromechs on steroids. I like that. That doesn't come through in the black and white as well.
I don't always like my Daleks too colourful, but they're fun here.
Yeah.
Back home in the UK, I have got a life-size inflatable Dalek, and it's one of these ones because it has the claw instead of the sucker.
Ah. That's really all there are no actors, really, I mean, to talk about. Are any of the other people in here notable? Because I don't know if they are.
I couldn't tell you I recognised anyone in it.
Okay.
I don't even think the guy doing the Dalek voices is one of the famous Dalek voice guys.
Is there anyone else we need to talk about? Can you kill people in mid-60s British sci-fi?
Oh, they kill them all the time on TV.
I just wondered if there was some kind of rating thing here where it's no one can actually die.
Oh, and also in the sequel, loads of people die.
Oh, okay. We've got an invasion going. Yeah, no one eats it in here. Do any Thals die?
I think a couple Thals.
Oh, that one Thal
gets
dies.
killed in the swamp.
Yeah, but yeah, there's a pretty low death rate.
Lots of Daleks die.
Do they count? Is that being ignorant? Do Daleks count?
Yeah, of course they count. See, that's the reason they're the way they are, Matt. Is because you say things like that.
Barbara and granddaughter Susan, they're whatever, they're fine. I don't want them to die, but yeah, I see where we are hoping the worst for Ian.
Apparently, he's a jazz musician, though.
He should have gotten a jazz break in this movie.
But yeah, I don't think you can't blame any of that on the actor. They've just given him a bunch of stupid pratfalls and bad jokes to be involved in. So,
we're already saying, what did they give Peter Cushing? A mustache, which I guess he had to grow himself.
Weak techno babble.
But I think we should go where we're not going to slag on the film so much, except for one notable exception, with the design. Are we ready to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we should come to praise this film a little bit, and we could definitely praise some of the design elements here.
There's a weird little thing here where obviously the TV show was made on like a tiny budget, so it's set in like just like a little forest and a wasteland. So the film is set in that same location. So you think like, oh, this is kind of a boring set, but then you occasionally just get like amazing vistas and designs and effects and stuff. Like, they could have just set it somewhere cool instead. I don't think they had the budget restrictions. The city looked good. The petrified forest looked cool. The swamp it was a swamp. There were some good, like, alien vistas. It's just, I feel like the only reason that the serial was set in corridors and a wasteland is because that's all they could afford.
Well, my primary memory of Doctor Who in the 80s is, I guess, Sylvester McCoy running down cheap corridors.
Yeah,
and I was definitely like, hey, these corridors look good. Also, that Dalek control room, I love that.
The lava lamps?
The lava lamps, but that three of them, man. But all the wall stuff, it made me think a little bit about, like, Logan's Run or something.
Yeah. It's kind of a similar vibe.
You were mentioning the claw and the sucker. I'm not deep enough to get that, but
Daleks usually, instead of having a claw, they have a sucker.
Do the sucker shoot fire?
No, they use it to pick stuff up and move.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
We never got the fire then.
No, they just shoot a laser beam instead.
Okay.
Well, we do get one doing a little bit of fire when they cut the door.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, right. Putting Ian in the Dalek. Do we do that anywhere else?
I believe that's from this serial.
It is from the serial. Okay.
Right.
We were talking a few weeks ago, we got on a slight tangent, and I guess the real creepy modern one would be the Weeping Angels, or is that now past its expiration date?
No, they tried to pull them off again with the Silence, but it wasn't quite as.
But, I haven't seen you said you haven't seen the most current Doctor either, right?
I saw her first season. There's a season airing now.
Okay.
Which I haven't caught any of yet.
Who is she going up against?
So in her first season, it was all new monsters, but none of them were super memorable.
The one part of the design that wasn't okay. Let me just do this with a sentence. There's a wooden chair in the TARDIS.
Yeah, yeah. Because even in old Who, TARDIS interiors are phenomenal, right? And this is crap. On TV Doctor Who, the TARDIS set is the one set they can use all season, right? So it's where the money goes. But in this, it's the set you see the least, so it's where they didn't put any money. The script probably just said lab. Like, that's it.
Well, at least the police box looks about right.
They can just actually go and get one.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if they were police came after him for that.
Well, they just stole a police
Yeah, they just
box.
stole one. That's my canon. They just stole one. A little bit about the Thals. We have Ziggy Stardust living in the Ewok village, basically.
Pretty much. Walking around in their pajamas. Like, they're not in, like, a uniform or anything, so it doesn't give you a reason why they're all just wearing the exact same outfit.
The actual album, not Ziggy himself either. With Bowie standing by the studio, yeah. Sorry, I just got my note that I figured out why I like the Dalek control room so much.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like Disney's Adventures in Inner Space ride.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, I've never been to any Disneyland.
I've never
so-
been on that ride. It was gone. I mean, I've watched videos of it and been on like elements of it in Disney World, but it was a iconic ride in the 60s and 70s. I think it was funded by Monsanto. But yeah, you go in the magic microscope, and they had an effect in the ride where it shows like the ride cars being shrunk down by optical effect going in, and you're supposed to be shrunk down. But yeah, their magic microscope room looked very similar to the Dalek control room. So if you want to get on a weird Disney trip, go find a ride through video of that from the deep past or something.
I guess it's just 60s sci-fi aesthetic, right?
Yeah. So they nailed it here pretty well. Stop it, break it down. Stop it, break it down. That's the Daleks' new hip-hop single, man. Has anyone ever sampled that?
Not that I could find when I was trying to find that crap song to show you. Well, these days, these films are kind of forgotten, I think. So obviously you got one sequel a year later. The only other time I've seen it is, have you seen the film Looney Tunes Back in Action? Where there's a bit where they go to the Area 52 and they just have a bunch of old B-movie aliens, which presumably were just hanging around on set. And it includes a couple of these Daleks. So there's these guys, there's like Robbie the Robot, there's like a gorilla with its brain hanging out.
So the hook is the giveaway.
Yes.
So I'm just stuck on the suckers and the hooks. I don't know why.
They're, and also they're like American Hollywood ones, right? So they would probably be these ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there was a gag in one of the New Who books that these films were made based on the Doctor's adventures or something dumb like that. But
they did make the I guess biopic, is it, about the making of the first season? Is it?
It's about the whole of the first Doctor's time as the Doctor, I think, because it ends with him handing over to Patrick Troughton.
Okay, I heard that was quite good.
It was very good, yeah.
Okay.
I forgot what it was called. Adventures in Time and Space. All right, Matt. There's Daleks, right?
Yeah.
The plunger is they're on.
Oh, I'm getting images now to work it out. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now that I see it side by side. Yeah. When did the TV show first go color? Was it like 71 or something?
It's the first Pertwee story, because I think it starts in black and white and then he gets regenerated and you see him in color.
And my other question, as the novice on the subject, is this the most Daleks we see together for a while?
Yes. I think the sequel tops it, but
yeah.
After that, the TV show doesn't have this many Daleks until probably until New Doctor Who.
Yeah, I seem to remember it being a big deal when 15 Daleks show up in the Matt Smith years.
Well, I'm sure they used some split-screen trick photography a couple of times to show us a few in older episodes, but yeah. By the time of New Who, you have armies of CGI ones flying around and 10 different models on set.
Yeah, I definitely, at the end you said they end up in a racist movie.
Yeah.
But to me, my thought was it opened up and the box was actually in the front row of a movie theater.
Yeah, that was such bad green screen of old stock footage of Zulu warriors or whatever they were supposed to be.
Does the sequel pick up directly from here?
Absolutely not, no.
Okay, didn't. Okay, just checking. I was just wondering if they ended up in the future. So okay, that's for another time, isn't it?
Yeah, like I said, I have much fonder memories of that one, so I do kind of want to cover it someday.
I did note that the line "It's a trap" is in this movie, screamed Akbar style.
Well, it's more screamed Princess Leia style.
Okay, we got the Star Wars connection at least. Oh, good word with the annoying Daleks here. Just I came across my note here. Has anyone? I might have shown Luke a few weeks ago, but the Germans who say nice things.
You did show me that sketch.
It's Steve Carell Dana Carvey. It's like a '90s sketch. That is what I was thinking with the Daleks the whole time. It has Steve Carell and Dana Carvey like, you look beautiful in that red dress. But yeah, so that went through my mind for the Daleks here.
Well, there's a Matt Smith story where they kind of revisit how weird that is. The Winston Churchill one, they have the Daleks pretending to be human inventions who are just helping out. And they're like, would you like some tea? And stuff like that. And it ends up being a trap for the Doctor. But yeah, it kind of reminds me of that when they're just like bringing them in. It looks like pizza boxes, but it's just sludge.
You can put the sludge in the eye of the Daleks, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, I got two notes. This doc is Vince McMahon. He just wants everyone to fight.
Yeah.
He's just setting up everyone to fight. And you're saying he's a bumbling old man, doesn't do anything bad, but he does lie to everyone to end up in the Dalek City. He's like, oh, I need a part. And it's what does he need? He says he needs mercury or something, and it's fine.
Yeah, he just wanted to explore the alien planet.
And almost gets them all killed just with his little white lie there. Well, actually, it's not really a white lie. It's a pretty big
bad
one.
lie, yeah. Well, the way he plays it and the way the film's structured, it's not even like he's the main character. It's cool, Doctor Who and the Daleks, but it's about, like, Susan, or if it's about anyone. And he's just her granddad.
Whose idea is it to blind the Daleks with the mirrors at the end?
It is his idea to trick their senses with the mirrors.
Okay, I think I wrote because I was like, oh, proper doc tactic, finally.
Yeah, but then it just doesn't work. They're like, oh, that's blocked our senses, so we'll just open the door and go outside.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But the ground opening, that was pretty cool.
That cost some money.
Yeah. That is where, I mean, the design here is definitely cool. It's like we should go make a better movie in these sets or something, which maybe is the next one. I don't know.
Well, that's all new sets, but that's like destroyed future London, so it's still pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. I kept seeing, like, the pin earlier. I kept seeing them pick up things and wondering if they were going for Sonic Screwdriver. When does that actually show up in the canon?
I think that's another thing we don't see until Pertwee.
Okay. I was like, oh, we're going to see it. Oh, that's just a pin. Okay. And there was something else. Maybe the Mercury thing. Oh, is that? No, it's not.
I feel like it was never as overused in Old Who as it is in New Who.
Yeah, and that was my other thought. I was like, geez, if they had that, they'd be getting out of jail a lot faster in this movie.
Like the Russell T Davies rule, I think he said in an interview once, was it can solve any problem except the final problem of the episode. It can never be the solution is to use the sonic screwdriver, because that's lame.
Oh, and yes, the Doctor Who's, so we'll call him Doctor Who for once, because we can. His other dick move, like you were saying in the summary, it's just like, drugs. Let's take the drugs. And then with the first thou, it's like, oh, he just wants to tell the little girl how to use the drugs. There's nothing creepy about that, or a second supply. It's just like, I felt like I was watching an after-school special. And the Daleks, give the drugs to your friends. It's like, that city's a party palace. And the TARDIS in this is just randomly jumping around, is it?
Yeah, they just accidentally go there, yeah.
Okay.
He falls on the controls at the start.
Yes. Isn't there a 99.99999 chance that they would have, opened the TARDIS door into a vacuum?
Yeah, I was sure they were going to say, oh, let's just check the instruments to make sure we're on a planet. But it just opens the door.
You could do that in the modern TARDIS, though, right? Isn't there kind of a...
Yeah, they do that a bit. But there's also... The modern TARDIS is, sentient and stuff, so they make the argument, oh, it deliberately takes him where he needs to be and stuff. This one is just a spaceship that a dude made, so...
Yeah. 4 years ago, I drunk gift certificated a Lego TARDIS set. It's still in Atlanta. It's got Matt Smith and Capaldi, I think, and Clara as the minifigures. One day I'll build it.
I had the big TARDIS-shaped DVD box set of the first Eccleston series.
Oh, that's
and
it.
Somewhere in the UK I've got a lot of Daleks. And a remote control K9, I think.
Where's your closest Dalek?
I don't have any Daleks here in Japan.
Okay, just checking. I guess, we've kind of spoiled on how this movie rates today, but just taking a look at it as a piece of, like you said, it's now been kind of weirdly shoehorned into the canon, so I guess that makes people happier to watch it in that way. It's the film version, the real film version in the Doctor's universe. So where does this sit now?
I don't think I would recommend that a human being watch this.
How about a Dalek? Could they watch this?
I mean, it's like training on how not to deal with prisoners and stuff. Although, I remember when we were talking about doing this episode, I said, I like the second one more, but fine with this one. I don't remember it being this bad. So now I'm wondering if I'm completely misremembering the second one too.
When's the last time you saw it?
I mean, since New Heroes existed, so in my teens.
Okay.
But not recently. Maybe not in a decade.
It kind of, it kind of felt like to me, like kind of some of those early live action Disney films before the black hole, like Darby McGill and the Little People. It had that kind of vibe, and that made me almost slightly enjoy watching it.
Oh yeah, I didn't hate watching it.
Yeah, I guess you called out the Dick Van Dyke clone thing with Cushing early on, so.
Yeah, it didn't feel like there was super bored. It just sort of happened.
But it was nice to look at, especially for 60s.
Yeah, and again, before the new Doctor Who started, if I wanted to see good Daleks on screen, this was all I had.
Yeah, we're definitely going to give the design prize here for anywhere before 2005, but
it's like if you're a Doctor Who fan, it's definitely worth watching as just as a curio. It's interesting to imagine the world where this like caught fire and became a popular franchise, and the TV show was forgotten.
Yeah, maybe I was just rushing through it, but I did find in this podcast, Luke tends to just like get the movies in right before we do it.
Right.
Whereas it takes me 2 weeks. I only watch like 20 minutes of something a day. I actually did get through like 28 or 30-minute chunks of this.
I started watching it last night, but it was very late and I fell asleep. So I watched most of it this morning.
Yeah, we were finishing up Flash Gordon when I showed up today. But so this was my first time watching it. How about you?
Oh, this was 10th.
10th? Oh my god!
I don't keep count, but yeah, like I said, this was always on TV as a kid, and I did have the double DVD box set as a teen, and I just loved seeing Daleks. Right? Well, actually, I mean, watching it all the way through, this probably is only my third or fourth. It's the second one that I watched over and over.
Okay, my first thought was actually the 90s TV movie. Is that better or worse than this? How's that rate?
I really don't remember that one at all. No, if we want to do a good movie, we just do the 50th anniversary special. I feel like I've just watched it the one time when it came out. Like, watched it as a TV movie. Because I remember my family hating it, and I think I just absorbed from them, like, oh no, that's not good, Doctor Who, I'm not going to watch that. Whereas I love Paul McGann, and like his radio stuff and his brief cameo before the 50th anniversary was good.
Like, from reputation, I feel like that one kind of goes on the shelf with Red Dwarf USA. That would just piss people off.
No, I think they execute the master at the start.
Oh, okay. Maybe I have seen the first few minutes. That sounds familiar. I've probably just seen the first few minutes, though. For me, it was like 2005 is when I first really gave any actual attention. So
no, I remember... I have two memories. I remember, is there a motorcycle chase? And I remember that the Doctor regenerates because he chokes on a grape.
I guess we're going to start wrapping up here. And Luke, you also have your Pokemon stream if you want to have a word about that.
Oh yeah, I also do another podcast. You can find that on Twitter and Facebook if you search for Luke Loves PKMN, where we cover a different Pokemon family every week. When is this going up, in like 2 weeks' time?
March 4th, maybe?
I think you'll have like a ladybird and a dragon that is an apple. So
you'll find my tunes over at rovingsagemedia.bandcamp.com if you're into that sort of thing.
You already know if you like Matt's music because you heard it during this podcast.
Yeah. And anyway, thank you for joining us, and now it's time for you and all of our valued guests to
get the fuck out of our sci-fi sanctuary.
I predict within 10 years, you will live in a push-button world. Piles upon piles of human bodies will be heaped in our thoroughfares as a warning. I predict within 10 years, you will live in a push-button world. Piles upon piles of human bodies will be heaped in our thoroughfares as a warning. I predict full medical attention by vending machine. Have a heart transplant, a hair transplant, or even a brain transplant by vending machine. I predict full medical attention by vending machine. Have a heart transplant, a hair transplant, or even a brain transplant by vending machine. I predict within 10 years, you will live in a push-button world. Piles upon piles of human bodies will be heaped in our thoroughfares as a warning. Embalming by radar, where the body is turned to indestructible stone. Embalming by radar, where the body is turned to indestructible stone. I predict full medical attention by vending machine. Have a heart transplant, a hair transplant, or even a brain transplant by vending machine. I predict within 10 years, you will live in a push-button world. Piles upon piles of human bodies will be heaped in our thoroughfares as a warning. Have a heart transplant, a hair transplant, or even a brain transplant by vending machine. Embalming by radar, where the body is turned to indestructible stone. I predict within 10 years, you will live in a push-button world. I predict within 10 years, you will live in a push-button world. Piles upon piles of human bodies will be heaped in our thoroughfares as a warning. Have a heart transplant, a hair transplant, or even a brain transplant by vending machine. I predict full medical attention by vending machine. Have a heart transplant, a hair transplant, or even a brain transplant by vending machine. I predict within 10 years, you will live in a push-button world. I predict within 10 years, you will live in a push-button world. I predict within 10 years, you will live in a piles upon piles of human bodies will be heaped in our thoroughfares. Embalming by radar, where the body is turned to indestructible stone. A hair transplant, or even a brain transplant by vending. I predict within 10 years, you will live in a push-button world. Embalming by radar, where the body is turned to indestructible stone. I predict full medical attention by vending. Piles upon piles of human bodies will be heaped in our thoroughfares as a warning. I predict within 10 years, you will live in a push-button world. I predict within 10 years, you will live in a push-button world. I predict within 10 years, piles upon piles of human bodies will be heaped in our thoroughfares as a warning. I predict within 10 years, piles upon piles of human bodies will be heaped in our thoroughfares as a warning. I predict within 10 years, piles upon piles of human bodies will be heaped in our thoroughfares as a warning. I predict within 10 years, you will live in a push-button world.
Wait, there's no grape choking? Have I invented that memory? Does he, like, eat a grape at any point, or have I completely invented Sylvester McCoy choking on a grape? I guess, I watched it when I was like 6 years old, so I got in my head the image of the Doctor eating something, then him dying, and I've just invented that he choked on a grape.
Maybe when your family said they hated it, you just instantly, like, rewrote your memories.
Or maybe I'm just having a bit of a Mandela and I'm from the freaking grape verse.
That must be it. Yeah. Occam's razor, right? Go for the... the opposite of that.
Matt's razor, always go for the weirdest, least sensical answer.